So we talked a little bit about segments. What you're going to need to do after you build a segment is run a campaign. A campaign is a way to proactively message all the students in your segment to share information on jobs, events, career fairs, branding, or general company information. We had built out our segment, we had called it SFCS Majors, and it now shows up on my segment tab. A quick reminder, these are live and dynamic, so they'll update nightly to ensure that you have the most accurate count of students within your segment. Once you've created your segment, you're going to click this envelope icon on the right-hand side of your screen. And that's going to allow you to create a campaign. The first step is going to be choosing your campaign type. Really make sure that you're picking one of the types. Are you trying to drive students to apply to jobs? Are you trying to drive students to RSVP for an event? Maybe you've got a career fair coming up and you want to ensure that students know about your group sessions and your one-on-one sessions. You only want to use the other type when you're trying to promote maybe a brand or a generic content about your company, but really try to ensure that you choose a campaign type related to one of the others if possible. I'm just going to use my job example. There's 3 steps in creating a campaign: a setup page, a creation page, and a review page. So the first page, you're just going to set up your campaign, starting with the campaign name. It's not a subject line, it's just a way to categorize your messages. So something short, simple, and easy to identify is great. You're then going to have to relate a job to this campaign. So we're going to click the in Handshake option. We've already posted our jobs on Handshake. We're just going to drive students there. Students can go through the entire workflow and apply. So I'm going to click related jobs and I'm going to search for my job opportunities. It'll show up in alphabetical order, or you can just start typing it in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick my senior manager position. And you'll see on the next screen why this matters. We've already selected the segment, but if some reason you need to change the segment, you can just use the drop down. And then the maximum audience size will allow you to take your entire segment pool. And if at a given time you only want to message a small subset of those students, maybe you want to do an A/B test, or you want to do a small rollout, you can limit the audience size anywhere from 1 student up to the maximum value of your segment, and only message a few students at a time and really do this in a phased approach. There are going to be some exclusions on your campaign. The biggest thing here is we want to ensure that candidates have a strong experience. So if a student has applied to a job that's posted on Handshake and they've clicked an apply button, you have messaged them or anyone else on your team has messaged them, they will be removed from this campaign in order to ensure that they are not getting bombarded and over messaged. It's always going to default to 6 months. However, you can change the time frame. Maybe I just want to do a 1-month time frame. And if you do need to remove the exclusions, be really mindful of why are you removing the exclusions? Is it absolutely necessary to remessage that group of students? And if so, ensure that you are sharing new content with the students. So you're building upon your previous message instead of just sending the same content over and over again, and that doesn't always translate into the best brand presence for your company and those students. Once you fill out your background information, you're just going to start writing your message. It's really important that your messages are clear, personalized, and direct and to the point. You don't want to put in too much fluffy content. You don't want to put runoff paragraphs. You really just want to make it personalized, engaging, and direct. So a few tips on writing a message. We always recommend when you create your message, you click the insert variable button and you select the first name. That'll personalize the message with the candidate's first name. You then want to write a message, maybe start by introducing yourself. My name is Polly, and I'm a campus recruiter for CSB Logistics. Then let the students know, why are you reaching out? So there's a few other variables in terms of major and school. I could say, I see you are pursuing, and I'm going to pull in their major, so it's personalized to them as well. and wanted to share some information on our upcoming positions. You'll then want to put in a little bit of background context. You don't want to make the assumption that all students know what the job is. So in this role, you'll own your own projects, work cross-functionally, and solve business critical challenges. Just a few sentences on what that role may entail. Now, the biggest thing in your message is ensuring that you have a call to action. If you remember on the previous screen, we attached a job. That job is going to show up at the bottom. It's going to give students some background information. And all they'll need to do is click the URL at the bottom to be directed to the job and apply. If you are interested in applying, click the apply to job link below. Start your application. You just want to ensure that you tell them what to do now that they've read your message. I always bold it just to make it stand out, and then go ahead and sign it off. We recommend using our default subject line. It does produce a pretty strong open rate, and then you'll just want to schedule your message. You can pre-schedule messages ahead of time. If I was putting this together, I'd want it to go out on Wednesday. At any given time, you can save a template. You can also insert an existing template. This is always a nice way to make the system more efficient. Go ahead and save your templates and reuse them in the future. You can also use your peers, as these are all shared amongst premium users. You can go ahead and add a follow-up message. We highly recommend adding a follow-up message. Give a few days between when your first message went out and your follow-up. And then you can select who that follow-up will go to. It's only one follow-up message per campaign. So be really thoughtful around what group of students you want to re-engage with. I'm just going to send it to those who didn't read. Follow the best practices again, but your follow-up message can be really simple, short and sweet, and to the point. You don't need to put in all the background information. Just following up and letting you know we still are taking applications. You can follow our messaging best practices to get more information on how to craft really strong first messages and follow-up messages. Once you've created that, you're going to go ahead and set your schedule. You can confirm your dates, and then you'll just schedule your campaign. Once your campaign is scheduled, you can come in at any time. You can proofread it. You can check the links. You can edit your campaign up until the date that it's going to send out. Even if your first message has gone out, you can always update the follow-up up until the send date. Finally, all campaigns will live in the campaign section on the left-hand side. Underneath scheduled, you'll see your upcoming campaigns to go out in the future. Unscheduled will give you all your drafts. And as your messages are sent out, they'll live in the results tab, which will give you some metrics around the number of students your message went to, how many students opened the message, what percentage engaged, meaning they clicked a link or responded, and then how many sourced RSVPs or applications you had based on the type of campaign that you ran. So a quick recap, you always want to build a segment. Once you build a segment, you want to set together a campaign to either promote a job, an event, a career fair, or general branding information. Make your messages really personalized, really tailored to the student's background, and encourage them to apply and come join your company.